Did you know that the way you tap your fingers while waiting can reveal which decade shaped your life? Or that your choice between coffee and tea might expose your family's deepest secrets? Scientists have discovered that certain habits we carry into our golden years work like time capsules, preserving memories of who we once were. These aren't just quirks, they're living history lessons written in the language of our daily routines. Today we're uncovering 10 surprising habits that tell the untold stories of seniors' pasts. From the way you arrange your pillows to how you greet strangers, each gesture holds clues to decades of experience. What you'll learn might forever change how you view your own parents and grandparents, or even yourself. Stay with us as we decode the hidden messages in everyday actions. Meet Margaret Chen, a vibrant 72-year-old whose keen eye for detail made her a legendary emergency room nurse in Boston. Born to Chinese immigrants who fled Shanghai in 1949, Margaret spent 4 decades saving lives while quietly observing the smallest human behaviours that others missed. Now retired, she volunteers at the Beacon Hill Senior Centre, where she's discovered something extraordinary. After 40 years watching people in crisis, you learn to read their unspoken stories. Last month, while serving lunch at the centre, she noticed how Mr. Johnson always saved his bread for last, a habit she recognised from Depression-era survivors. Mrs. Rodriguez meticulously folded her napkin in perfect triangles, just like Margaret's mother, who learned etiquette in pre-war finishing school. These weren't random quirks. They were echoes of entire lifetimes. Margaret began documenting these fascinating patterns, realizing each senior carried invisible badges of their past. Her observations have helped countless families understand their loved ones better, bridging generational gaps through simple daily habits. Today she's sharing her most surprising discoveries with us. Before we dive in, if you're finding value in these insights, please hit that like button. It helps more people discover these important stories. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our weekly wisdom for navigating life's golden years. Now, let's explore these remarkable habits through Margaret's experienced eyes. Our first revealing habit is the early bird routine. Margaret noticed something fascinating. Seniors who consistently wake before 6 a.m. often share similar backgrounds. Every morning at 4:45, like clockwork, I watch Mr. Davis arrive first at the centre. He doesn't need an alarm. His body remembers. Research shows this internal clock often develops from 2 main life experiences: farm life or military service. Children raised on farms learned that cows needed milking before dawn, chickens fed at first light. These patterns become hardwired, persisting decades after leaving rural life. Similarly, veterans carry their réveillé schedule long after discharge. But there's a third, lesser-known group, immigrant families who worked multiple jobs. Margaret's own father rose at 4 a.m. for his bakery shift, a habit he maintained until his final days. The early morning holds different meanings for different generations. For some, it's about discipline and duty. For others, it represents opportunity and survival. Interestingly, studies indicate these early risers often maintain better cognitive function in later years, possibly due to consistent circadian rhythms. They're also more likely to exercise regularly and maintain social connections, arriving first at community events. Watch how early risers greet the sunrise. Former farmers pause to check the sky. Veterans stand a bit straighter. Immigrants often whisper gratitude. Do you still wake up at dawn? What memories does the early morning hold for you? Share your sunrise stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear what drives your internal clock. Next, we uncover the telling signs of the handwritten letter writer. Margaret discovered a fascinating pattern among seniors who refused to text or email, preferring pen and paper. Mrs. Sullivan writes thank you notes for everything. Her penmanship is impeccable. Perfect loops, consistent slant, That's when I knew former teacher. Indeed, research confirms that seniors who maintain handwritten correspondence often come from specific professional backgrounds: teachers, secretaries, postal workers and journalists. Professions where written communication was paramount. These weren't just jobs, they were identities built around the power of the written word. The habit reveals more than occupation. Handwriting experts note that seniors who write regularly show distinct characteristics. Those from wealthy backgrounds often use fountain pens and quality stationery, while Depression-era writers tend to fill every inch of paper, even writing in margins. I once watched Mr. Peterson spend 20 minutes selecting the right stamp. Former postal worker, they understand that presentation matters. Neurologists have found that maintaining handwriting skills helps preserve fine motor control and cognitive function. These letter writers often demonstrate better memory retention and emotional processing. Watch their faces as they write. There's a meditation in it, a connection to everyone they've ever written to. But here's what's truly remarkable. These seniors often have the most extensive social networks, maintaining relationships across decades and continents. Do you still write letters by hand? What memories surface when you pick up a pen? Comment below with your handwriting stories. But wait until you hear about the next habit. It's something you do every day without realizing what it reveals. Now we explore a habit so subtle most people never notice it, the counterclockwise stirrer. Margaret's discovery began in the centre's cafe. Margaret Chen, VO. I watched Mrs. Kowalski stir her tea, always counterclockwise, always exactly 7 times. Then I noticed others doing the same. This seemingly random habit has profound roots. Research reveals that counterclockwise stirring often indicates childhood experiences with scarcity. During the Great Depression and wartime rationing, families developed rituals to make precious resources last longer. Counterclockwise stirring was believed to dissolve sugar more slowly, stretching supplies. Margaret Chen, VO. Parents taught children to stir against time to save sugar. The habit stuck. Cultural anthropologists have documented this pattern across different regions. In Eastern Europe, counterclockwise stirring represented defiance against clockwork authority. In parts of Asia, it aligned with spiritual beliefs about energy flow. Latin American communities associated it with cooling hot beverages more efficiently. Margaret Chen, VO, Mr. Santos told me his grandmother insisted counterclockwise stirring kept evil spirits away. Mrs. O'Brien learned it prevented tea leaves from clumping. The habit often reveals economic background more accurately than current wealth. Seniors who experienced food insecurity tend to stir deliberately, counting rotations. Those from abundant backgrounds stir casually, if at all. Fascinatingly, neuroscientists found that directional stirring activates different brain regions, potentially influencing how we process memories associated with meals. Which way do you stir your coffee? The answer might surprise you. Share in the comments, clockwise or counterclockwise. You might discover a family history you never knew existed. Our fourth revealing habit is the mender and keeper, seniors who repair everything rather than replace it. Margaret's eyes light up as she describes this pattern. Margaret Chen, VO. Open any drawer in Mrs. Fisher's apartment and you'll find treasures. Spare buttons sorted by colour, fabric scraps folded neatly, rubber bands saved from newspapers. This isn't hoarding, it's preservation born from necessity. The Great Depression created a generation that understood the value of everything. Waste not, want not wasn't just a saying, it was survival. Margaret Chen, VO, each button had a story. This one from Dad's Navy uniform, that one from my first Easter dress. Research shows that seniors who mend and keep often experience significant hardship in youth. They learned that a torn dress could be beautiful again with careful stitching, that shoes could last another year with new soles. But this habit reveals more than economic history. Psychologists note that menders often possess exceptional problem-solving skills and creativity. Margaret Chen, VO. Watch Mr. Thompson fix a wobbly chair. He'll use techniques passed down 3 generations, combining wooden pegs with modern glue. These seniors frequently have the most organised homes with everything in its designated place. Their garages and basements resemble tiny hardware stores. Margaret's own drawer contains buttons spanning 60 years, each carefully saved just in case. Surprisingly, younger generations are rediscovering these skills, seeking out menders as mentors in sustainability. Margaret Chen, VO. They're not just fixing things, they're preserving knowledge that once kept families afloat. But wait until you see what habit number 5 reveals about a senior's deepest fears and greatest triumphs. The 5th habit cuts straight to the heart, the food saver. Margaret recalls opening Mrs. Yamamoto's refrigerator during a home visit. Margaret Chen, VO. Every leftover was dated, labelled, stored in glass containers. Nothing disposable. Behind each jar was a story of survival. This meticulous food preservation often signals wartime experiences or severe food insecurity. Seniors who lived through rationing, internment camps or famines develop intricate systems for food storage. Margaret Chen, VO. Mrs. Rossi can tell you exactly how many meals she can make from one chicken. Bones for soup, scraps for stock, even the skin gets used. Psychologists identify this as scarcity mindset, the brain permanently rewired by hunger. These seniors often maintain emergency food supplies, rotate pantry items with military precision, and feel physical distress when food is wasted. Margaret Chen, VO. I watched Mr. Novak cry over spilled milk. Literally. He was remembering his childhood in post-war Poland. Cultural differences emerge in storage methods. Eastern European seniors favour pickling and canning. Asian elders master fermentation. Mediterranean seniors preserve in oil. Each technique links to specific historical food shortages. Remarkably, these habits often produce the healthiest seniors. Their diverse preservation methods maintain nutritional value, and their waste-nothing approach aligns with modern sustainability practices. Margaret Chen, VO. I still can't throw away bread crusts. My immigrant parents' voices echo, someone somewhere is hungry. Tell us about the oldest item in your pantry right now. What memories does it hold? Share below. You might discover others who understand exactly why that jar matters. Habit 6 reveals deep financial trauma, the cash carrier. Margaret noticed this when organising a group outing. Margaret Chen, VO. Mr. Petrosky pulled out a roll of bills secured with a rubber band. Mrs. Chang had cash tucked in 3 different pockets. They'd rather carry hundreds in cash than use a credit card. This habit directly correlates with experiencing bank failures or economic collapse. Seniors who lived through the Great Depression, hyperinflation or banking crises maintain what psychologists call mattress money mentality. Margaret Chen, VO. They've seen banks close overnight, savings vanish, currencies become worthless. The pattern varies by background. Depression-era Americans often carry exact amounts in specific denominations. Immigrants from unstable economies hide money in multiple locations. War survivors keep emergency funds in different currencies. Margaret Chen, VO. Mr. Weber still has Deutsche Marks from 1945. Margaret herself uses a hidden envelope system inherited from her parents. Margaret Chen, VO. One envelope for groceries, one for emergencies, one behind the picture frame. Never all your eggs in one basket. Financial advisors note these seniors often have impeccable budgeting skills, knowing their expenses to the penny. Research indicates cash carriers typically have less debt and higher savings rates than digital first generations. They understand money's tangible value. Margaret Chen, VO. Watch them count change. Every coin matters. They remember when a nickel bought bread. Surprisingly, these habits are resurging among younger people concerned about digital privacy and cyber theft. Margaret Chen, VO. The old ways sometimes protect us in new times. The next habit might change how you see your own grandparents forever. It's written in the rhythm of their daily routines. Our 7th revealing habit is the news ritual observer. Margaret discovered this pattern during breakfast at the centre. Margaret Chen, VO. Mr. Harrison arrives at 6:30 a.m. sharp, newspaper in hand. Mrs. Martinez tunes the radio to NPR at exactly 7. It's like clockwork. These rigid news consumption schedules often reflect former careers in journalism, government, military or international business. Margaret Chen, VO. They lived in worlds where information meant survival or success. Missing the morning briefing could cost lives or fortunes. Former journalists maintain multiple news sources, cross-referencing stories with practiced skepticism. Ex-diplomats focus on international sections, reading between lines. Military veterans scan for strategic implications. Margaret Chen, VO. Watch Colonel Simpson read. He starts with weather, then international, then domestic, same order he received intelligence briefings. The timing reveals generational experiences too. Those who lived through wars often check news first thing, anxiety from air raid sirens still echoing. Cold War survivors developed habits around specific broadcast times. Margaret Chen, VO, Mrs. Kowalski, still gets nervous if she misses the 6 p.m. news. In Soviet-controlled Poland, that broadcast carried coded messages. Neurologists found these rituals provide cognitive structure, helping seniors maintain mental acuity. The habit of analysing news critically correlates with lower rates of misinformation susceptibility. Margaret Chen, VO. Mr. O'Brien still clips articles for his grandchildren. Mrs. Park translates headlines into her native Korean, keeping her language sharp. What time do you check the news? Comment below. Your news ritual might reveal more about your past than you realize. Habit 8 uncovers the garden whisperer phenomenon. Margaret first noticed this in the centre's community garden. Margaret Chen, VO. Mrs. Calabrese talks to her tomatoes in Italian. Mr. Wong plants by the lunar calendar. Each gardener carries ancestral wisdom. These techniques reveal precise regional origins. Southern seniors plant by folklore signs, corn knee-high by 4th of July. Midwest gardeners follow Germanic companion planting. New England seniors use seaweed fertilizer traditions. Margaret Chen, VO. You can map someone's childhood by their gardening methods. The language used with plants is particularly telling. Rural raised seniors often sing or hum while gardening, remnants of fieldwork songs. Urban gardeners who learned during wartime victory gardens maintain military-precise rows. Immigrant gardeners preserve heritage varieties, seeds carried across oceans. Margaret Chen, VO. She buried fish heads under tomato plants, ancient Chinese technique. She'd whisper to each seedling in Cantonese, promising to care for it. Botanists confirm that talking to plants can improve growth, but these seniors do more than talk. They conduct conversations. Researchers found that garden whisperers often outlive non-gardeners by several years. The combination of physical activity, purpose and connection to life cycles provides powerful health benefits. Margaret Chen, VO. Depression-era gardeners never thin seedlings. Every plant gets a chance. Those who survived famine save every seed. Wealthy background gardeners focus on flowers over food, but nothing compares to what's next. A habit so deeply ingrained it reveals the very social fabric that shaped a generation's entire worldview. The 9th habit exposes the intricate social dance code. Margaret observed this during the centre's holiday gala. Margaret Chen, VO. Watch how seniors enter a room. Mrs. Worthington pauses at the doorway, scanning for proper introductions. Mr. Rodriguez heads straight for the food table, helping serve others. These aren't random choices. They're deeply programmed social reflexes. Class upbringing becomes visible through subtle signals. Upper-class seniors maintain specific distances during conversation, use utensils from outside in, and never discuss money directly. Working-class seniors show hospitality through food, touch shoulders while talking, and share resources openly. Margaret Chen, VO. The way someone offers their seat reveals their entire social education. She identifies fascinating patterns. Former military wives organize events with precision protocols. Immigrant seniors bring gifts to every gathering. Southern seniors use elaborate courtesy titles. New England elders maintain formal reserve until properly introduced. Margaret Chen, VO. Mrs. Chen still bows slightly when greeting elders, not from China, but from her parents' teachings about respect. Sociologists call these cultural micro-expressions, tiny behaviours that broadcast social origins. Even handshake styles vary, firm and brief, business class, two-handed, political families, or gentle touch, old money. Margaret Chen, view. Notice who pours tea for who stands when someone enters, who insists others eat first. These aren't manners, they're social DNA. Remarkably, these codes help seniors identify allies and navigate new environments safely. Margaret Chen, VO. It's like a secret language. They can spot their own kind instantly. Have you noticed these social patterns at family events? Watch carefully next time. You might decode your own family's hidden history. Share your observations below. Our final habit unveils the most profound truth, the memory keeper. Margaret demonstrates this herself, rattling off dozens of phone numbers from memory. Margaret Chen, VO, Mrs. Thompson 617-555-3421, Dr. Patel's office, 781-555-8900. My childhood home, 203-555-1967. This isn't just impressive recall, it's a survival mechanism from an era when forgetting could mean permanent disconnection. Seniors who memorize extensive personal data often experience traumatic separations, war evacuations, immigration, or family dispersal. Margaret Chen, VO. During the Cultural Revolution, my parents memorized relatives' addresses in code. One wrong number could mean never finding family again. The habit intensifies with technological distrust. Seniors who witnessed identity theft, surveillance, or data breaches maintain mental backups. Margaret Chen, VO. Mr. Kowalski survived Soviet occupation. He trusts his mind over any device. These memory keepers often have extraordinary cognitive resilience. Neurologists find their brains maintain stronger neural pathways through constant mental exercise. They're walking databases of birthdays, anniversaries, recipes and directions. Now, Margaret's own revelation, Margaret Chen, VO. I memorized patient histories during the AIDS crisis when records were stigmatized. Room 302 needed morphine at 4 a.m. Room 415's partner could only visit after midnight. My mind became their sanctuary. She pauses, eyes glistening. Margaret Chen, VO. Every number I remember is a life I promise not to forget. This habit reveals the deepest truth. These seniors aren't just remembering data, they're preserving human connections in the most unbreakable vault, their minds. They carry entire communities within their memories, ensuring no one is truly lost. As Margaret catalogued these habits, something remarkable happened. She began understanding her own story. Margaret Chen, VO. I spent weeks observing others, never realizing I was decoding myself. Each habit she identified in others mirrored her own hidden patterns. Her 4:45 a.m. rising, inherited from her baker father who fled Shanghai. Her meticulous handwriting, shaped by her mother who taught herself English by copying library books. That counterclockwise stirring, a grandmother's superstition that became family tradition. Margaret Chen, VO. I thought I was just being practical, but I was carrying my ancestors' survival strategies. The revelation transformed her volunteer work. Instead of simply serving meals, she began reading the stories written in seniors' movements. When Mr. Novak saved bread crusts, she understood. When Mrs. Santos crossed herself before eating, she recognized the prayer. When Colonel Adams arranged chairs in perfect rows, she saw the order that once saved lives. Margaret Chen, VO. These habits aren't quirks, they're love letters from our past selves. She created connection circles where seniors shared their habit origins. Mrs. Kim taught pickling methods that survived Korean winters. Mr. O'Brien demonstrated knots learned on fishing boats. Mrs. Rodriguez showed how to mend clothes with invisible stitches. The centre blossomed into a living museum of generational wisdom. Margaret's greatest insight, Margaret Chen, VO. We spend our youth trying to fit in, our middle years trying to stand out, and our golden years discovering we've been carrying our truth all along. Every habit is a thread in the tapestry of who we are. She now sees her parents' influence in everything. Their resilience in her steadiness, their adaptability in her empathy, their courage in her compassion. Margaret Chen, VO. They didn't just give me life, they gave me ways to live it. If you recognized yourself or a loved one in these habits, hit that like button. Share this video with someone whose habits tell an amazing story. Subscribe and click the bell to discover more fascinating insights about life after 60. Your family's history lives in these small daily acts. Let's honor them together.